The wind drags sand across the valley, as if the earth remembers every footstep of the ones who fell before. Moses stands alone at dusk, a shadow carved from 40 years of fire, his staff sunk deep in the patient dust. Around him the tribes are murmuring like distant waves, yet his eyes are fixed on the land he'll never touch. A promise kept by judgment, not by journey. And the Lord is silent, but present in the mountain's breath. But present in the mountain's breath. Present in the mountain's breath. But present in the mountain's breath. Children, you were swaddled in wilderness, fed by manna and morning fog, raised by wandering and warning. You never felt Pharaoh's lash, but you carry the echo of chains in the quiet movements of your father's bones. I have watched you grow in the dust of their regrets, and now, as Jordan's river stares back at you like a mirror, I must speak the words that only the dying understand. Present in the mountain's breath. Present in the mountain's breath. Present in the mountain's breath. I remember Sinai in its trembling flame. I remember your mothers hiding their eyes. I remember your fathers swearing oaths they did not have the courage to keep. You do not know the fear of a mountain on fire, but you know loss, you know hunger. You know the graves that line this desert spine, yet the covenant still burns. A fire borrowed, not owned, a name carried, not claimed. And so I stand here, old bones under a younger sky, watching a nation preparing to live where I am forbidden to follow. The Lord has told me my journey ends soon, but your story begins where mine breaks. Remember me not as a man of miracles, nor as the voice that thundered law, but as a witness to the mercy that carried us when strength could not. Strength could not. Strength could not. Strength could not. Night gathers over Moab's plain. The last stars bloom like fragile embers. Moses lowers his eyes, not in defeat, but in the quiet acceptance of work completed. The tribes sleep, the prophet listens to the dark, and somewhere beyond the river, a land breathes softly, waiting. Across the camp, soft as mercy, sharp as truth. Dust stirs beneath the prophet's feet, while children gather to hear the memories of a dying man. These are the words Moses says, a voice worn thin by fire and 40 years of bleeding. You stood in the shadows of your father's fear, but you will walk in the light they refused. He looks at their faces, strangers yet the heirs of everything he carried. He tells them of a harp of smoke that swallowed daylight, of thunder that cracked the bones of mountains, of a covenant carved in burning stone. You were too young to remember, he says, but the promise remembers you. Your father shattered obedience like clay beneath the hammer, yet the Lord held you, even as you wandered between thirst and rebellion. The wind falls silent, as if even the desert leans in. Hear the words left, the same one that once split seas. Now trembling with age, he recalls the spy's report. The fear that turned strong men, hollow the night, entire nation cried to return to bondage. You are not them, he says, you are the children of survivors. The children spared by judgment, the children raised for something better. His eyes shine, not with pride, but a tired hope. But a tired hope. Remember Moses says, every step you take is a choice between two roads. The road of the living and the road that forgets. He speaks of battles won by faith, of serpents lifted high, of kings fallen before shepherd tribes of mercy returning like dew at dawn. And still he breathes, the greatest enemy was never the sword. It was your own forgetfulness. Hear the words that guard your life, spoken on the edge of dawn. Choose the path your fathers lost. Hold the fire, carry it on. The wilderness is not your home. The promise waits beyond the stone. As the sun climbs the ridges of Moab, the camp stands silent. A nation listening, a prophet remembering, a dawn dividing the past from the future. Moses lowers his head. This is only the beginning. There is so much left to say. Listen. Listen, there are stories buried under your footsteps, bones under your blessings, warnings packed into the cracks of your inheritance. You walk on ground your parents feared, you breathe the air they doubted, you carry the promise they dropped like a stone too heavy for trembling hands. I remember the journey you never saw, nights when the sand froze like iron, days when the sun peeled the skin from our backs, the throne of tents collapsing under exhaustion, the way hunger made men bargain with despair. Your father said was Egypt better with chains kinder, was slavery easier than trusting the unseen. And I watched their faith bleed out like water spilled on hot stone. But you were children learning to walk between miracles, raised in the cradle of storms and manna, eyes too young to know the difference between judgment and mercy. Let me tell you what the wilderness taught, that rebellion grows fastest in the heart that forgets who fed it, that a free man can still think like a slave, that the path of promise is not a straight road but a graveyard with lessons carved into every mound. I saw thirst twist reason into madness, I saw men curse the sky that sheltered them, I saw women cradle dying hope like embers fading in the wind. But I also saw the cloud move by day and fire burn by night, saw water burst from silent stone, saw serpents fall to a lifted sign, saw armies scatter where shepherds stood. You don't remember any of this, but you must learn from it as if you were there, for history ignored becomes judgment reborn. Every step is memory, every mile is mercy. Walk like you know the weight of the bones beneath your pain. Carry the weight, carry the flame, carry the names of the fallen who shaped you. Walk with their ghosts, walk through their shame, walk till the promise remakes you. The wilderness carves what the Jordan will claim, a mountains that watched you. Horeb, where the sky broke open, where the voice of the eternal struck men down without a blade, where the law etched itself into stone because flesh could not hold its shape. Your fathers trembled like reeds in a storm. They begged me to speak, for them to stand between them and the fire, and I did. But it wasn't my strength. It was mercy wearing my voice. And when they turned to idols, when they traded the living God for a golden calf born of panic, I shattered the tablets in fury, not to destroy the law, but to show you what disobedience breaks. Still he forgave, still he led, still he fed, still he called a nation of dust his own. Remember this: you live because mercy outpaced rebellion. You stand because judgment paused long enough for grace to breathe. You inherit what you did not earn, a land, a covenant, a name. Do not take lightly what was carried through fire for you. And now you're here, border of promise, edge of dawn, where the Jordan waits like a witness to test your resolve. Your fathers saw giants and shrank, they saw cities and panicked, they saw promise and doubted, but you will not be defined by the fear that buried them. Remember the victories, kings who fell like dust in the wind, blades that shook beneath, marching tribe, fortresses shattered by obedience alone. Remember the mercy, sins forgiven, plagues restrained, bread on the ground like dew of heaven, cloud and flame, guard in your sleep. Do not forget the wilderness, for the wilderness is what taught you to need God more than land, to seek God more than comfort, to follow God more than memory. Carry the weight, carry the flame, carry the names of the fallen who shaped you. Walk with their ghosts, walk through their shame, walk till the promise remakes you. The wilderness carves what the Jordan will claim, a people reborn from wandering. Moses lowers his voice, the camp is still, every face is listening. The past is not changed, he whispers it is instruction. Learn it, or your future begins where their footsteps end. Before you cross the river, before the land folds you into its orchards and iron gates, before vineyards whisper your name, before cities you did not build lay their doors at your feet, hear me. The danger is not the giants, you will crush them, not the walls. They will crumble, not the armies, he will scatter them like chaff before dawn. The danger is forgetting who carried you through wilderness night. Forgetting is a slow poison, a drip in the mind, a numbness in the bones, a quiet drift from flame into shadow, where idols fatten themselves on complacent hearts. You think danger is loud, storms, swords, thunder, kings, but listen, children, danger is comfort, danger is harvest, danger is full bellies and quiet nights, danger is when the manna stops and you forget who sent it, when the well is deep, you forget the rock that split when your houses rise, you forget the tent you buried when your drifted grain, you forget the desert that tried to kill you, and when you forget, you drift, and when you drift, you bow, and when you bow, you break. Guard your heart like a city without walls. Guard your memory like a priest guards fire. For blessing without remembrance becomes a curse forged by your own hand. Bind the truth upon your soul, bind it to the rising day. Teach your children every dawn, tell them how we lost our way. When the land begins to bloom, do not let your heart decay, for the promise becomes peril when you forget who led the way. Let me speak plainly. The land ahead is good, but good land breeds proud men, and memory fades. You will see hills greener than hope itself, rivers that shine like bronze in the sun, cities stocked with wealth you never earned, and your heart will whisper lies. I built this, I deserve this, my strength carved this kingdom, my hand shaped this victory. But I watched your father say the same, I watched pride rot them like unseen worms and ripe fruit. I bury men stronger than any of you, because they believe the lie that blessing is self-made. Never believe that lie. It is the first footstep toward ruin. Remember remember the fire on Horeb, how the mountains convulsed, how the sky cracked like a jar of lightning, how the voice rode over us like a living storm. You saw no form, no shape, no idol, just flame and command. Why? Because the eternal cannot be carved from stone or wood or gold, because the infinite cannot shrink himself to something your hands can hold. If you craft an idol, you are not worshiping God, you are worshiping your skill, your fear, your need for control. And that is how nations die. Guard your heart, guard your mind, guard your memory, guard your name. The enemy outside is nothing compared to the enemy within. Bind the truth upon your soul, bind it till the rising day. Teach your children every door, tell them how we lost our way. When the land begins to bloom, do not let your heart decay, for the promise becomes peril when you forget who led the way. Write the words upon your doorpost, let them soak into the timber of your home. Speak them in the morning, speak them at night, speak them while you walk, speak them while you rest. Let memory become your armor, let devotion become your breath, for the covenant is not chains, it is life held steady against the pull of forgetting. And understand this, you are not chosen for your strength, you are not chosen for your numbers, you are not chosen for your glory. You are chosen because he loves you and because he keeps his oath. Even when men break theirs like brittle clay, do not answer love with forgetfulness, do not answer mercy with pride. Do not answer mercy with pride. Do not answer covenant with drift. For if you forget the one who rescued you, you will become slaves in a land meant for freedom. Memory hangs heavy in the morning air. He breathes deep, as if inhaling every generation at once. This, he says quietly, is the fight you must win before you ever draw a sword. Before you take the land, before the rivers divide for you, before the nations tremble at your march and kings lose courage at your shadow, you must understand the covenant, not as poetry, but as blood, not as a song to chant, but as a vow that binds the marrow. A covenant is a blade drawn across history, a line carved between blessing and ruin, a witness that remembers when men choose to forget. This is no contract where one side negotiates terms. This is the eternal setting his name like fire in your bones, promising himself to you with a fidelity deeper than oceans and expecting yours in return.
The covenant is not casual, it is a yoke of glory, a mantle that weighs more than kingdoms. He carried you from Egypt like a father lifts a broken child, and you must carry his words with more loyalty than soldiers carry their spears.
Hear me. Obedience is not oppression, it is alignment with the holy. It is choosing life in a world built from dust and deception and rebellion. Rebellion is not freedom, it is corrosion of the soul. It is drinking poison because it looks like water. It is cursing the hand that held back your destruction. This covenant is not small, it wraps your days, your gates, your children, your fields, your waking and your sleeping. Nothing is outside its reach. Bind your heart to it, bind your breath You ask why the law is strict, why the commands are heavy, why obedience is carved like iron into oak. Because without boundaries you are the wilderness. You are chaos disguised as courage. You are destruction wearing good intentions. You are the echo of Eden's fall, looking for another garden to break. He gave you law to keep you alive, to make you holy in a world drawn toward ruin, to separate you from those who devour themselves in the darkness. And when discipline bites, remember, gold is refined by fire, not warm breezes. Virtue is shaped by struggle, not comfort. The covenant is not punishment, it is preservation. Your father stood at Sinai, terrified by flame, terrified by thunder, terrified by the sound of the universe speaking his maker's voice. And even then, even after seeing the mountain burn, they fell into idolatry like it was a familiar bed. So hear me now, you are not stronger than they were. You are not wiser, not more spiritual, not less prone to wander. Humility is the armor that will keep you alive. Pride is the serpent whispering under your ribs, waiting to strike the moment you think yourself unbreakable. The covenant cuts deep, a vow you cannot sever. Walk in the word and live forever. The blessing rains down on the faithful who keep it, but judgment will rise if you learn to cheapen it. Teach your children, teach your elders, teach your land, teach your gaze. Let the covenant be the lens through which you see the world. Let it be the weight that keeps your steps from drifting. Let it be the truth you carry like a torch into the long corridors of time. For this vow is not temporary. It outlives kings, outlasts empires, outshines even the mountains that witnessed its birth. Understand this clearly, he does not need you to complete his glory, but you need him to keep your soul from unraveling. Stay faithful, not because he is fragile, but because you are. Stay devoted, not because he requires flattery, but because your heart will chase idols if not anchored to the holy. Do not drift, do not bend, do not trade covenant for comfort, for comfort is the slowest executioner ever born of man. The covenant cuts deep, a vow you cannot sever. Walk in the word and live forever. The blessing rains down on the faithful who keep it, but judgment will rise if you learn to cheapen it. If you learn to cheapen it. If you learn to cheapen it. Moses looks across the valley. The wind lifts the dust. Time feels thin.
Hold the covenant, he whispers.
For everything ahead depends on it. Listen. The covenant is not sealed with comfort. It is sealed with consequence. You stand before blessing and curse, life and death, a path lit by obedience, and a road swallowed by rebellion. I watched your fathers choose the wrong path, even after miracles bruised the horizon. I watched them hunger for Egypt while manna felt like mercy. I watched them curse the promise because giants blocked the gate and fear felt easier than faith. Understand this, disobedience is not a mistake. It is a direction, a descent, a slow delivery turning toward ruin. Disobedience begins small, a shrug at the command, a roll of the eyes at the law, a quiet I know better, a subtle shift of allegiance from God to self. Then it spreads, it becomes habit, then identity, then rebellion sharpened into weaponry. And when rebellion matures, it calls judgment, like smoke calls fire. Some of you will say, why fear judgment if we're chosen? But hear me, chosen does not mean shielded from the consequences of betrayal. Your fathers were chosen, yet the wilderness is full of their bones. Turn your heart before it calcifies. Turn your steps before they wander past. Return, for the curse is not thunder from heaven. It is the commands. Your land will forget you, your fields will turn against you, your harvest will wither, your sky will close like a fist. The rain will flee from your arrogance, and the ground will yield only thorns and echoes. Your enemies, those you now pity, will grow bold and devour what you abandoned. You think yourself strong, strength means nothing when the eternal withdraws his hand. If you walk away, you dismantle your own future. You become architects of collapse, engineers of your own downfall, farmers sowing wind and harvesting the whirlwind. Look at the nations around you, they carve idols from cedar and stone, bow to the work of their own hands, call their sin freedom, call their corruption wisdom. If you follow them, you will become them, empty, hollow, a people with no anchor, drifting between broken altars and forgotten names. Disobedience does not merely wound, it rewrites identity, it replaces sons with strangers, replaces blessing with famine, replaces calling with collapse. And the worst curse is not exile, not famine, not invasion, but the silence when heaven stops speaking. Turn your heart before it hardens into stone. Turn your mind before the truth becomes foreign. For judgment is the shadow cast by your own footsteps. The weight of disobedience falls heavy on the soul. It tears the roots from blessing. It darkens what was whole. You wonder where the shadows live when you reject the light. The curse is not an accident, it's walking from what's right. Hear me now. The curse is not God's hatred. It is his grief, the ache of a father watching his children sell their inheritance for comfort, for idols, for pride. It is the world turning against you because you turned away from the one who made it. Return, return before the door narrows. Return before the night thickens. Return before the curse becomes your home. You stand at a crossroads between life and ruin. One path is carved with obedience, the other paved with your own brilliance and doomed to crack beneath your feet. Choose wisely, for rebellion is a fire that burns the hand that feeds it. Choose life, choose covenant, choose the one who carried you when your strength bled dry. For if you choose disobedience, not even the promised land will save you from yourselves. Moses lowers his voice, the tents grow still, the valley listens. Life and death, he murmurs, are closer than you think. Hear me, Israel. A nation cannot stand on passion alone. Fire burns bright, but law builds endurance. You are crossing into a land where kings rise, nations roar. Borders shift like sand in a storm, and without justice you will fall apart from the inside out. So I lay before you statutes, not as change but as scaffolding for your future. Righteousness is not instinct, it is discipline. Holiness is not impulse, it is structure. Law is the spine of a people who refuse to collapse.
Set judges in your gates, men who fear God more than bribes, men who cannot be bought by silver, flattery, or influence.
Justice must not tilt toward the rich or the powerful, nor must it pity evil, because evil learn to cry. You must judge straight, judge clean, judge without distortion, for a crooked court is a cancer, and a corrupt judge is the spark that burns nations down from the throne to the fields. Remember,
You were called to righteousness,
not convenience.
not convenience.
Justice is worship, righteousness is obedience. The law you uphold shapes the future you inherit. Write the law into your bones, let it steady every stride. Let the truth be your foundation, let no darkness creep inside. For a nation built on righteousness will never walk alone, but a people who reject the law will crumble to the throne. You will one day cry for a king. I know it, I know it, I know it. Your children will beg for a crown because other nations have one. But hear the rule, the king must not raise himself above his brothers. He must not hoard wives, chariots, gold, or horses. Why? Because pride in a king becomes pride in a nation, and pride is the venom that brings down both. The king must write the law with his own hand, read it every day, carry it like breath. For if he forgets the word, he will forget his people, and if he forgets his people, he will forget his God. A prophet will rise among you, not chosen by committee, not appointed by politics, but called by the eternal. With a voice like collision, you must listen, you must test every word. For false prophets speak honey while poisoning the well. True prophets speak fire that purifies the heart. A false prophet leads nations astray with dreams forged in darkness. A true prophet anchors them to the voice that thundered on Horeb. Discernment is life and death. Justice is worship, righteousness is obedience. The truth you guard today will guard your sons tomorrow. Write the law into your bones, let it steady every stride. Let the truth be your foundation, let no darkness creep inside. For a nation built on righteousness will never walk alone, but a people who reject the law will crumble to the throne. Priests will stand in the sanctuary, shoulders carrying generations, teaching you the difference between holy and profane, clean and unclean, life and death. Neglect them and wisdom will fade like dew in the teeth of the sun. Honor them and understanding will grow like vineyards in good soil. Law is not merely taught, it is transmitted from soul to soul, from father to child, from priest to nation. So hear this final charge. Do not twist the law to suit your desires. Do not rewrite righteousness to justify your impulses. Do not call evil good because it feels convenient. The law is a mirror, look into it honestly. The law is a shield, hold it without shame. The law is a covenant, walk in it with fear and awe. For if you reject the law, you reject the life it was meant to protect. Write the law into your bones, let it steady every stride. Let the truth be your foundation, let no darkness creep inside. For a nation built on righteousness will never walk alone, but a people who reject the law will crumble to the throne. Moses breathes deep, breathes deep, breathes deep. The valley holds its breath, but the nation, he whispers, is only as strong as the law it keeps. War is a fire that devours the foolish. The nations around you swing swords like beasts with no shepherd, driven by hunger, anger, vengeance, pride. But you are not beasts. You do not wage war like men who have no God. When you march to battle, do not let terror rule your breath. For the one who split the sea will split your enemies. Courage, your strength is not in numbers, not in horses, not in chariots, but in the presence that walks beside you when steel meets dawn. And hear this law before a war begins. You must offer peace. Your sword must never strike before your voice is spoken. Mercy if they turn. kindness, mercy is discipline. Mercy is knowing that God rescues because he desires life. Not endless graves in the dust, but if they refuse peace, if they cling to violence, if they choose their idols over their survival, then the sword must finish where mercy could not begin.
War must be clean, war must be just, war must be governed by the fear of God.
Hold the sword with trembling hands. Strike only where you must. Let justice lead you into war. Let mercy shape your throne. When the nation walks with God, its battles don't corrupt. But when the sword forgets the law, the soul becomes corrupt. Yeah. Hear me again, you must not imitate the nations who burn their children on altars and carve idols from their fear. Idolatry is more deadly than any spear you will face. It infects the marrow, it rewrites desire. It turns courage into cruelty and worship into self-destruction. When you enter their land, tear down their idols, burn their groves, shatter their pillars. Do not adopt their gods like stray dogs, wandering the camp for the idols you pity today will enslave your sons tomorrow. This is war of the heart as much as war of the field. And understand this, not all are called to fight. Some must return home. The man who built a house but has not lived in it. Send him home. The man who planted a vineyard but has not tasted its fruit. Send him home. The man engaged to be married. Send him home. Why? Because war consumes futures and God protects the fragile threads of lives yet to unfold. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the presence of calling. And if your heart trembles beyond strength, return home as well, for fear is contagious and panic spreads like wildfire across armor.
War must be clean, war must be just,
War must be governed by the fear of God. Hold the sword with trembling hands. Strike only where you must. Let justice lead you into war. Let mercy shape your throne. When a nation walks with God, its battles don't corrupt. But when the sword forgets the law, the soul becomes corrupt. Remember the Amalekites, how they struck the weak, the weary, the stragglers in the rear. Remember that evil feeds on the unguarded. Remember that cruelty is not forgiven by time. Some battles exist because wickedness refuses peace. Some wars cannot end until the threat is erased. You must know the difference between a foe who can't be spared and a foe who will not stop until the innocent fall. Discernment is the blade behind every blade. So hear this final word of war. You fight only when commanded. You show mercy whenever possible. You preserve life with fierce devotion, and you do not allow idols to live in your borders or your bones. For war without justice is slaughter. War without mercy is madness. War. But war under the law, war under the presence becomes judgment carried out with trembling hands and a heart guarded from corruption. Hold the sword with trembling hands. Strike only where you must. Let justice lead you into war. Let mercy shape your throne. When a nation walks with God, its battles don't corrupt. But when the sword forgets the law, the soul becomes Moses gazes across the plains. The young warriors listen still. War, he says, reveals who you follow. This is the hinge of your future. Everything turns here, life or death, flourishing or famine, glory or collapse. If you walk in the way of the eternal, blessing will chase you like sunlight hunts the morning. It will pursue your fields, crown your children, rise with your bread and sleep within your gates. Blessing is not luck, it is alignment with the holy. It is life flowering where obedience takes root. Blessed in the city, blessed blessed in the fields, blessed in the womb, blessed in the harvest. Your enemies will charge one way and flee seven. Your barns will groan with abundance, your land will hum with rain. Your name will rise like incense among nations. The blessing will become your identity, your banner, your inheritance. But hear me, blessing is only half the mountain.
Turn your face toward light,
And the world blooms,
turn your face toward darkness.
and the world bleeds. Choose blessing or ruin. You stand at the edge of both. Walk in the word and flourish. Turn away and lose your oath. For the covenant remembers every step you take. And the future you inherit is the one you choose to make. But if you turn, if you break the covenant, if you chase idols like thirsty men chasing mirages, then the curse awakens. Your fields will rebel, your skies will turn brass, your earth will turn iron, the rain will flee your pride, and the crops will choke on drought and dust. You will labor and gather little, you will plant and reap nothing, you will build and never dwell, you will marry and another will take your place. The curse is not a single blow, it is collapse, dripping line by line into the bones of a nation. Your enemies will rise like storms from every direction. Their siege will choke your gates, their armies will surround your walls. You who once walked free will walk trembling, you who once stood tall will bow under foreign yokes. Your life will hang in doubt, your nights thick with terror, your mornings heavy with dread. And worst of all, you will serve the idols you followed and become slaves to the gods that cannot save.
The curse always ends where disobedience begins. Turn your heart while it still feels. Turn your mind while it still listens. Turn your path while it still bends.
Choose blessing or ruin. You stand at the edge of both. Walk in the word and flourish. Turn away and lose your oath. For the covenant remembers every step you take. And the future you inherit is the one you choose to make it. Let me strip it bare. Blessing exalts a nation. Cursing dismantles it. Blessing builds families. Cursing shatters them. Blessing multiplies joy. Cursing multiplies sorrow. Blessing is the fruit of walking with God. Cursing is the harvest of walking away. The eternal does not delight in ruin, but he will not bless rebellion. Life and death are rated into this covenant. Your choices are the knife that separates them.
If you obey, he will raise you high. If you rebel, he will scatter you low. If you walk upright, the world will see the glory of a people held by God.
But if you choose corruption, your name will become a proverb, a warning whispered in foreign streets, a tale of what becomes of a nation that forgets its maker. Hear me, this is not fear-mongering, this is truth, this is covenant, this is destiny placed in your hands. Choose blessing or ruin, you stand at the edge of both. Walk in the word and flourish, turn away and lose your oath. For the covenant remembers every step you take, and the future you inherit is the one you choose to make.
Moses raises his hands. The valley turns silent.
This, he says, is the mountain your future stands on. Give ear, heavens, let the sky be my witness. Listen, earth,
Let the ground bear this truth. My words fall like rain, my teaching like dew, soft on the early grass, yet heavy with judgment. For the name of the eternal is blameless, perfect, just a rock unmoved by ages. A father who never faltered, but his children grew crooked in the daylight, twisting their hearts toward shadows. Foolish generation, who forgot the one who shaped you, who lifted you from the wasteland, who guarded you like a hawk covering over fragile wings. He found you in desolation, in a land of howling emptiness, and he carried you, fed you, guided you, sheltered you, as though you were his only. He fed you honey from the rock, oil from the flint, milk from the flock, grain heavy as gold. You grew fat on blessings you did not earn, and forsook the one who gave them. You abandoned the rock, so the rock will remind you what abandonment feels like. This is the song of heaven's grief, the anthem of a wounded king. You rise on blessings undeserved, then turn away from everything. But the covenant stands unbroken still, a fire the faithless cannot kill, and mercy waits beyond the hill. You provoked him with idle shadows carved by trembling hands, statues that cannot breathe yet steal your breath. So he says, I will hide my face from them, let them see what becomes of a people without their God. Foreign nations will press you, strange tongues will confound you, disaster will stalk your borders like wolves scenting wounded prey. Fire will consume your mountains, sword will chase your cities, calamity will wrap the whirlwind and settle in your gates. Yet hear the mercy even in wrath, compassion smolders. He will say, they are my people, still their foes think they conquered by strength, but they forget who writes the fate of armies for your enemies. A dust in his wind, arrows in his quiver, palms in the story they do not understand. He wounds, but he also heals, he shatters, but he binds again. No hand can deliver from his, yet his hand can deliver all. Ye live all, ye live all, yeah. Return to the rock, return before the last note fades, for judgment is a river, but mercy is deeper still. This is the song of heaven's grief, the anthem of a wounded king. You rise on blessings undeserved, then turn away from everything. But the covenant stands unbroken still, a fire the faithless cannot kill, and mercy waits beyond the He swears by his own life. I lift my hand to heaven and declare, as surely as I live forever, vengeance is mine. Vengeance is mine. Yet vengeance is not chaos, it is justice shaped by love, wrath tempered by promise, judgment sharpened to cut away corruption and leave the faithful standing. When the nations see his hand, when the earth trembles at his step, when the broken call his name, he will answer, and he will restore. Hear the sound of the song, the idols will fall, the nations will bow, the land will breathe again. For he is the rock, not of ruin, but of redemption. And though your sins dragged you low, your God will raise you higher still when you return with the shattered heart ready to be remade. This is the song of heaven's grief, the anthem of a wounded king. You rise on blessings undeserved, then turn away from everything. But the covenant stands unbroken still, a fire the faithless cannot kill, and mercy waits beyond the hell.
Before my feet leave this earth, before the mountain takes me, before the dust returns to dust, hear the blessing of a dying prophet.
The eternal came from Sinai, clothed in fire, riding the dawn across the desert. He shone from Sari, thunder from Paran. He marched with 10,000 holinesses at his right hand, a flame of law, a torrent of mercy. He loved your fathers, he loves you still, and what he commands, he gives strength to carry. Reuben, may your numbers never vanish, may your lineage stand steady like a flame in the night. Judah, hear the cry of your tribe in battle, may your hands be strong, your enemies scatter, your prayers answer before they leave your lips. Levi, the keeper of wisdom, the guardian of holiness, you tested me and master, you refine your loyalty and Meribah. Let your priests teach truth with unsparing lips, let your altars burn steady, let your blessings strike like lightning across the nations.
The tribes are 12 rivers, flowing from one promise. Each must carry its portion of the light. These are the words of my final breath, blessings carved from life and death. 12 tribes standing in the sun, held by the God who makes them one. Carry these words through every storm, for covenant blessing is how you're born.
Benjamin, the beloved, the child cradled in the shadow of the Almighty. May he surround your borders with everlasting arm. Joseph, strength of the hills, glory of the deep, fruitfulness without measure. May your land overflow with hidden treasures, and may your horn charge forward like a wild ox, driving nations apart with justice and truth. Your blessings stacked like mountains, your inheritance drips with abundance.
Zebulun, joy on the seas, prosperity in the markets. May your trade swell like the tide, and your life be anchored in praise. Issachar, rest beneath strong tents, wisdom in your counsel, stability in your seasons. Gad, lion of the east, warrior with the first blow. Your justice is swift, your courage unbroken. Blessed is the land you seize, blessed is the strength you bear.
The blessing flows like fire, lighting each tribe according to its calling.
These are the words of my final breath, blessings carved from life and death. 12 tribes standing in the sun, held by the God who makes them one. Carry these words through every storm, for covenant blessing is how you're springing from Bashan, swift as a desert thunderbolt. Let your strength surprise your foes like a serpent in the path, precise, decisive, unstoppable. Naphtali, satisfied with favor, ritual blessing the sea in the south, fall into your hands with joy. Yasha, most blessed of sons, walk in dignity and plenty. Let your feet be bathed in oil, your gates strong as iron, your days long, your strength renewed like morning steel. There is none like the God who rides the heavens to your defense, who folds the skies around his throne, who crushes ancient foes beneath you, who carries you in everlasting arms. The enemy will tremble, the land will yield, the promise will stand as long as the eternal breathes.
So hear my last breath, you are blessed beyond counting, you are shielded beyond fear, you are loved beyond exile, ruin or famine. Your tents will shine, your valleys will sing, your future will stretch like dawn over mountains. Happy are you, people redeemed, a nation saved by the one who rides from eternity. These are the words of my final breath, blessings carved from life and death. 12 tribes standing in the sun, held by the God who makes them one. Carry these words through every storm, for covenant blessing is how you're born. These are the words, these are the
Moses lifts his hands. The tribes bow in silence. These, he whispers, are the last gifts I have to give.
The camp sleeps, dawn bleeds gold across mob. Moses rises with the weight of a century resting on his shoulders. He walks alone, no heralds, no armies, no crowd, just the steady climb of an old man toward destiny. The mountain waits Nebo, silent and stern, holding the last chapter of a prophet's life with every step. He leaves behind a nation he carried, a people he bled for, a covenant he delivered on trembling stone. Trembling stone, trembling stone.
He reaches the ridge, the wind wraps around him like an old friend. And God says, look, Moses opens his eyes, and the land unfurls like a tapestry of promise.
North to the caves of Dan, south to the salt-stained plains, west to the glittering sea, east to the borders of ancient fire. He sees every valley, every river, every inheritance promised since Abraham first counted stars. He sees the future in the folds of the hills, battles, kings, exiles, returns, the rise and fall of generations built on covenant breath. Covenant breath, covenant breath.
He cannot enter, but he can behold. Sometimes fulfillment is to witness and not to tell.
Nebo stands like a doorway between earth and the unseen. A prophet's life behind him, a promised world beneath. He sees the land he cannot walk, yet finds his rest in sight. For faith is sometimes vision, not possession in the night. Moses exhales, not in sorrow, in completion. He remembers the reed basket, the palace halls, the burning bush, the plagues, the parted sea, the wandering years, the rebellious crowds, the whispered prayers, the fire on Sinai that carved law into stone and fear into the mountains. He remembers God like a companion beside him in every wilderness mile. And he smiles because he is not dying defeated. He is dying finished. Eternal stands with him. No trumpet, no chariot, no thunderstorm. Just presence, a friend taking his servant home. Moses, he says, you were faithful in all my house. And the air grows still. The world listens as heaven welcomes a man who walked with God. Longer than nations have lived. Longer than nations have lived.
He cannot enter, but he is not denied. For the promise was never land, the promise was God.
Nebo stands like a doorway between earth and the unseen. A prophet's life behind him, a promised world beneath. He sees the land he cannot walk, yet finds his rest inside. For faith is sometimes vision, not possession in the night. No one will find his grave, no stone will mark his name, no monument will rise to cage a memory meant to live in hearts. The Eternal buries him with his own hands, an honor no king has ever known. And Israel weeps below 30 days of mourning, 30 days of silence, 30 days of learning what it means to lose a giant. Joshua waits in the valley, mantle warm upon his shoulder. The future stirs, a new leader rises. But Moses steps into eternity. The sun crowns him one last time. The wind carries his name, and the mountain accepts its final pilgrim. Nebo stands like a doorway between earth and the unseen. A prophet's life behind him, a promised world beneath. He sees the land he cannot walk, yet finds his rest in sight. For faith is sometimes vision, not possession in the
The mountain keeps its secret. No footstep return. No voice calls down the ridge. No shadow leans over the stones. Moses is gone, and the valley below feels hollow in the absence of the man who shaped its destiny. Israel stands still, not marching, not shouting, not singing, just breathing in the silence of a world without his prophet. 30 days of mourning, 30 days of remembering, 30 days where every tent feels smaller without his voice rising like fire in the night. They recall his thunder, his warnings, his laughter, his brokenness, his strength like carved granite, his prayers that bend heaven, his anger that shattered tablets, his tenderness that carried rebels like wounded children. He made mistakes, he paid for them, he still finished faithful. Greatness is never clean, but it is real. The prophet has fallen, but the covenant stands. The man is gone, but the word remains. After Moses comes the dawn, after sorrow comes the call. He is gone beyond the mountains, but his voice still shapes us all. We carry fire, he left burning. We walk the path he carved in stone. For a prophet dies in silence, but his legacy walks on. Yeah. Joshua rises not as a rival, not as a shadow, but as a son of obedience, stepping into destiny with trembling hands. The spirit rests on him, the same presence that walked with Moses through fire, famine, rebellion, sand. The people gather around him, a new chapter held together by the strength of an old one. For leadership is a torch passed hand to hand, burning brighter when shared. And Israel turns its face toward the Jordan, toward the land that waited through centuries of promise. They march not as wanderers now, but as heirs, not as slaves, but as sons. Behind them a grave no one can find before them, a future waiting to be written. Moses' absence is a wound, but also a door some stories in, so new ones can begin. The prophet is gone, but the present stays. The leader has fallen, but the promise breathes. After Moses comes the dawn, after sorrow comes the call. He is gone beyond the mountains, but his voice still shapes us all. We carry fire, he left burning. We walk the path he carved in stone. For a prophet dies in silence, but his legacy walks on. Remember the staff, the sea split wide, the plagues, the covenant carved in flame, the wilderness years, the mercy and judgment, the burdens he carried alone, the prayers he burned at the throne of God. Remember the man, not perfect, but chosen, transformed by faith into a pillar of history. You know this truth, a prophet's life ends, but the God who calls him does not. So Israel marches forward with the ghost at his back, not haunting but guiding, a memory that strengthens, a story that anchors, a name that will echo through every generation that clings to the covenant he delivered. And as the Jordan shimmers on the rising sun, the people whisper, we will walk where we could not, and heaven agrees. After Moses comes the dawn, after sorrow comes the call. He is gone beyond the mountains, but his voice still shapes us all. We carry fire, he left burning. We walk the path he carved in stone. For a prophet dies in silence, but his legacy walks on. The mountain keeps its secret.
content.